Good morning everyone and welcome to this fine Thursday. If you are new here, then I'm Mel and I'm making videos all about the different creative ways I'm making money online. And if you're not new here, then welcome back. And today is going to be just a vlog following me around for the day. One of the things that I really want to do is just to talk about and show the reality of what working from home could look like and making money online could look like. I think it's about 9:30ish and my kind of main job this morning has been to make my desk look presentable. And it needed not just tidying, it needed cleaning because I don't think I'd done that for a couple of weeks, so it was starting to get a little bit dusty and a bit grimy, and it has a glass top to it, so you can see when it's getting a little bit not at its best. And also I had to make myself look relatively presentable as well, although I noticed that, so I put a little bit of powder on my face just to try not to look quite so shiny. Because whenever I edit these videos, I always look at my skin and I'm just like, oh my gosh, you look like a polished apple because it's so shiny. And I realise that the powder hasn't made any real difference. So we'll just go with it. Just shiny face Mel, that's what we'll go with. Anyway, today I've tidied my desk. I've got a herbal tea in my lovely Cath Kidston mug, and it is a Twinings apple, pear and green tea, and it's quite nice. Just on the subject of herbal teas, the herbal teas that I do not like are anything with berries in them. So I don't like raspberry and blackberry or strawberry in like herbal teas, because I think it reminds me of the taste and flavour of medicines and things that you have when you are a kid. So I'm a bit off those. I don't really like those. I like things like chamomile and honey. I like mint. I like other fruit like apples and pears and things. That's really nice. I like peach tea. That's nice. Anyway, that's all beside the point. What are we going to do today? So I thought I would show you actually in a moment my Google Calendar that I have put together for myself that basically maps out roughly and kind of time blocks roughly when I should be working on all of my different income streams. And so far it's been fairly helpful, and I'd say I have pretty much stuck to it, but I have been squeezing in a little bit more of the reselling than I have done over the summer because I took a lot of time off it and I kind of need to put a bit of extra time in to get it back to where it was before the summer started. There's more about that in my like chatty update video that came out before this one. So today then, this morning, is reselling, and what I would like to get accomplished this morning is my eBay and Etsy dispatch. I ran a few 99p auctions, most of which finished at 99p. I think like £1 something, £3 something for a couple of them, but most of them finished at 99p. But as difficult as it is to kind of to look at that, it is really important that I get rid of dead stock and stuff that's been hanging about for ages. And it's things that I had reduced down to £5, which after fees on eBay wouldn't have left me with very much anyways. It may as well just go to auction, get out of my house, and then, you know, I think I've made something like £8, £9, something along those lines. And I just thought, well, I could get, you know, I could buy a little bundle of something, I could pick up a few things in secondhand shops, I can replenish even with just, you know, a few pounds coming in. So it means that I have got, I'm guessing about maybe 10 or 11 items to package and post out for eBay, and then I've also got a couple of things on the Etsy shop. The Etsy shop is doing quite well now. As soon as I hit 100 listings, things seem to pick up. I also ran a 25% off sale, which obviously would help as well, and I am beginning to suspect that if you run quite a hefty sale, Etsy really promotes your shop. I could be talking out of my behind. That might not be right at all, but I feel like it might be. I think it might be because it doesn't like you. So I kind of have ended that sale and I've switched it to a 10% off sale just to sort of see what happens. And I noticed that 10% off isn't one of the options it gives you. You have to go into like a customize your own sort of percentage box to set it at 10% because Etsy wants you to run your sales at 20% off. I mean, all of these platforms, they do like to just, you know, take a little bit too much control over your business, don't they? But I'm experimenting, so I'm going to leave it at 10% for a couple of weeks and sort of see what happens, and, you know, keep uploading new listings and things, and then I might switch it to 20% and sort of see what happens there. I don't know, it's just, Etsy's a bit of an experiment, but I'm very, very pleased with how things are going and I'm quite enjoying it as well. So we have a couple of items on Etsy to dispatch, and I will record myself doing those things. At some point I need to have breakfast. I feel quite hungry today, which is unusual. I normally have breakfast now. Basically what I decided to do was stop forcing yourself to have breakfast kind of quite early in the morning when everybody else has breakfast, because you're not hungry then and it actually makes you feel really crap. So I started having breakfast, like most days I feel like having breakfast at around 11 o'clock. So I sort of end up having brunch, and that suits me absolutely brilliantly. But then I've noticed that there's like a period of time sort of during my hormonal cycle where I actually get hungrier earlier in the morning, and it's at that point today. So I'm thinking breakfast around 10, half 10, something like that. So here's what I think we'll do. We'll do the eBay dispatch, break for breakfast, and then do the Etsy dispatch. And then after that, I want to, I'm going to show you some items that I want to photograph, because I would really love to get another 10 listings onto Etsy, but we'll get onto that later. Let me just put my cup of tea down and we'll get that eBay dispatch sorted. Right, so I've done nothing but faff around this morning so far. It's terrific. It's 20 past 10 and I'm here. This is today. I'm here and I don't have longer than half an hour on my reselling chunk of time. So I honestly, it's because I've been faffing around getting stuff organised for filming today, and just doing some admin bits which I could have actually left but I didn't, and now I'm ridiculously behind. So I think what we'll do is today we're going to adjust this, and the reselling bit is going to fit into that section as well. So we'll do reselling in those two, and then we'll do Etsy in that section there. So basically this is how I've set up my calendar and just kind of time blocked everything. So you can see that like every Monday I've got my reselling, every Tuesday I've got YouTube, and actually what I've done is over the weeks I have sort of put on here what I should, like what YouTube tasks I should be doing. This is actually the day that I haven't got into the like swing of properly yet. I'm still all over the place with my YouTube, but hopefully having this in place, and if I start to increasingly follow it, that will improve things. And then every Wednesday I've got KDP, every Thursday I have got some reselling in the morning and then Etsy in the afternoon. And then Fridays changes a lot every week. So this week it's working on something called Substack, which is where I'm going to try and create a little off like YouTube community for us all. You can see I've got all my different color coded like types of task and things to show up in my calendar. And if I just show you some different weeks, really croaky this morning, it's because my other half has gone out for the day, hence the vlog, and I haven't really spoken to anyone other than him and you this morning, so I'm a little bit croaky. Anyway, so this is the previous week, and you can see that it's reselling, it's YouTube, but it's planning and recording rather than the other stuff. It's KDP again, reselling and Etsy, and then this has kind of changed on the Friday. So what I've put is the first Friday of every month I am going to concentrate on buying stock. That could be hunting out auctions, it could be, you know, going through eBay to see if there's anything that I can buy and resell on there. It could be popping into some secondhand shops, going to an antiques fair if there's anything, or like an like an antique shop and collectible shop, anything like that is going to kind of go into that first Friday of every month. And then this is an interesting one that I've put on here, I think, is I've got Sparrow's End CEO. So the first Friday of every month is where pretty much like the whole of the afternoon I sit down and I'm going to try and sort of maintain like an overview of all the things that I'm doing and really think about how I can keep pulling everything together, I can keep moving forward. So this is more about planning and thinking than it is about like just like getting jobs done. So that's in there. And then the second week of the month looks like this. Oh, that had a lunch date there. I will blur out the person's name, not that you know the person. The reason why I've broken from my routine is that I'm obviously friends with a lot of teachers who have time off over the summer, and that's a really great time to catch up with them. Anyway, so that would ordinarily still be a reselling day. We've then got YouTube editing. So the first Tuesday of the month is when I do the planning and recording. The second Tuesday of the month is when I then edit everything. And you can see how I'm trying to get myself into a bit of a routine with it. Anyway, I'm not going to go through all of this. If you would like a separate video where I actually do go through all of these things and how I've mapped it out so that I've actually fitted in so many things into this, into my calendar. It's kind of amazing. If you want a separate video on it, I will do one. Otherwise, I'm going to stop now and we'll just go back to where we are today. And yes, I am actually going to get on with the reselling. Right, so we're finally done. Finally done with the eBay dispatch. I finally got to it, and we are now kind of heading towards 11 a.m, which is a little bit later than I'd like, but I just thought I'm not walking away from this job half done. No. So we've now got to think about what I'm going to have for my breakfast, and I normally like to have eggs with my breakfast, but we don't have any. I think there are 3 rashers of bacon, so I'm thinking it might be a bacon sandwich this morning. Just, you know, in case you're interested, this is my bacon sandwich. There's a little bit of grated cheese in there and a load of red pepper as well. So that looks delicious. I've made myself a cup of tea as well. So I am gonna sit down and relax 20 minutes with my cup of tea and my bacon and cheese and pepper sandwich. Right, so we are back again, and I have my unfinished cup of tea with me. And we are about to do the Etsy dispatch of a couple of items, and I will twiddle you down so you can kind of see what I'm doing. I can't remember what they are. Well, actually no, I remember one thing is a brooch. I've got that here. Just a little thistle brooch. And let me just have a quick look at what the other item is quickly. But yes, there is a link to mine and my mum's vintage shop on Etsy in the description box. Oh yeah, it's a, let me get it and show it to you. It's this. I remember these being really popular in the 1990s, which is what I thought when I picked it up. It says 2000 on the back, so I wasn't kind of far wrong. But they remind me of the sorts of things that used to be sold in a shop called Pastimes. It's not a Pastimes thing. But yeah, it's just like a little faux Victorian Edwardian photo album. And you get like these little cardboard frames that you slip. Hold it up, Melanie. Hold it up properly. That you slip things into. And I think I sold it for... Well, I had it up for £9.99, but I had that 25% off sale on it. So I think it went for about £6, and I paid 99p for it. So not a huge profit, probably maybe a £5 at the most, just under a £5. But again, really quick and easy to list. And at the moment, it's really good, I think, for me to experiment with different types of vintage items on the Etsy shop, just to see what kind of things people are interested in. So yeah, so I've just got those two things to wrap, so I will get on with that. I'm going to watch a YouTube video while I do it. Right, so first of all, I've realised that I've filmed all of this without using my fancy new Bluetooth mic, but that's okay. It's mainly for when I'm filming in the garden and the allotment and stuff like that, so not too concerned. Okay, so all of my dispatches now sorted. I have a pile of parcels. When I stop and have my lunch, we'll go and stretch our legs and go and drop those in the post box, I think. Now then, the final thing that I want to do today is to get hopefully about 10 listings on to my Etsy vintage shop, and I thought I would show you the things that I am photographing today. And I don't think I can, well, I might be able to film myself photographing them if I get my old iPhone out. So you might be watching me do that, you might not, I don't know, and I'm waffling. Melanie, focus. Right, let me show you the stuff that I'm photographing today. There's a few bits, I think, at least a couple of bits that you might have seen before. Those of you that have been watching my vlogs for a while, you will have seen this. Oh, it's upside down. Vintage tea towel. Sorry, very creaky. Lovely vintage tea towel. It's never been used. It is very crisp. And the fabric feels quite stiff as well, which means it hasn't been through the wash yet. But finally going to try and photograph that. I don't actually really know how I'm going to photograph the kind of the linens and fabric and bits and pieces, but you know, we'll see how we go. We'll try and come up with something that looks attractive. I've also got this bundle of white doilies. They aren't part of a set. They don't match or anything. But I thought I'd put all of these odd ones together and photograph those as a bundle and sell them as a bundle. And the same here, I've got a collection of like coffee and cream coloured doilies. And they're very lovely, but I thought I've kept the one that I like the most. I'm quite tempted to keep this one as well. I quite like that one. The sort of oval one. I don't know, we will see when it comes to photographing them. But yeah, so coffee and cream doily bundle and a white doilies bundle. And then I've also got very doily heavy today, isn't it? I've also got, I don't know whether to lump these all together or to do them sort of into two separate batches. I have got some pink doilies. There's another one of those, and there's a slightly larger one. So I have those ones, and then some, they're kind of a pale pink, and then I've got this kind of really dark pink one that I'm tempted to, there's that as well that kind of goes with it. It's a different pattern, but it's the same colourway. Tempted to do these ones separately because it's just, I don't know, it's just really, it's kind of really colourful, and it's a much stronger colour than the pale pink. So I might separate those, but that's, what's that, 4 to 5 listings in that. And then I've got this crocheted square, which it's just an edged granny square, which I thought, as I'm sort of moving into testing out some haberdashery bits and pieces, I might pop that in there as well. And then I've got a set of vintage coasters that I need to give them a little bit of a clean. This one basically needs a clean. This has got like a coffee or tea kind of cup ring on it. But yeah, so they're going to need a little wipe over, but I've had those for a while. They've been sitting in a drawer. I think I paid 99p for them. It wasn't very much. And it was, again, it's something a little bit different just to try out in the Etsy shop to see how it goes. But yeah, so clean those, pop those in. And then I've got a couple of items of jewellery. A little pair of ceramic earrings, and a thistle and horseshoe brooch, which you can't really see through the plastic bag very well, but there we go. Oh, and then we've got this, which I don't think I can bear to be parted with. I think I might be keeping this. I've got a collection of things a bit like this, of like tapestries and embroideries and some lovely like acrylic and oil paintings, all of flowers. And I want to put them in my dining room because I want my dining room to have a slightly kind of botanical feel to it. And I really like this. It's really heavy. It's got a piece of like hardboard on the back there, but I love it, and I don't know if I can bear to get rid of it. What I might do is I might take it downstairs and pop it with the other pieces and see if it sits well with those, and if it does, I'll keep it. If it doesn't, then you'll find it listed in the shop. In fact, if you go and have a look at the shop, you'll see whether I've actually decided to part with it or not. And then my 3 final things for today are just a little floral jug that I'm going to style these next 3 pieces with some flowers from the garden. We're gonna pop out in a minute and just cut some. I think I've got some buddleia and some roses. I don't think I've got anything else really out there that's flowering at the moment. But yes, we're gonna grab those and just chuck them in the jug and take some photos. And then we've got this, you might have seen before, this Crown Devon. I think it could be the bottom of a ginger jar just because the lip is poking up. I'm not sure if it's poking up quite high enough for it to be that. So it could be a ginger jar missing its lid, but I think it serves very well as a gorgeous sort of cottagecore vase. And if nobody buys it, I am definitely keeping this one because I love it. And then I also love this as well, which is just a beautiful Arthur wood jug. And what I love about it is you can see it's at that point of sort of Art Nouveau moving into Art Deco, because you've got these lovely organic kind of lines and then something slightly more geometric and sharper in the handle, and it's just gorgeous, and it's cream. And do you know what, one day I'm going to have my dream cream and green like farmhouse kitchen, but I don't have it yet, and this doesn't go with anything much. I mean, it possibly might go in the dining room, the one I was talking about when I kind of decorate it to have a slightly botanical kind of theme to it, but until such times, I think I'm better off selling it. And then when I get my dream house and dream kitchen, one day, I can then kind of rebuy the stuff that I want, rather than hoarding it at the moment for the type of room that I don't have and can't have yet. Okay, so I couldn't really film that easily outside because suddenly I went from having no neighbours out in the garden to both sides out in the garden. So I couldn't really speak freely to you in case they thought that I was going a little bit crazy. But these are the blooms that I managed to find. I've got some cornflowers, some cosmos, some buddleia. This is a type of, not succulent, what's the word? I'll think of it in a minute. And then we've got a couple of types of roses. The red roses are incredibly thorny though. So, oh, I think there's a zinnia down there as well. A little pink zinnia. So they're looking a little bit rough and ready, but I figure I'm only going to need some of those in each of those vases to get a decent shot. So that's what I'm going to try and do now. Right, so it's increasingly hot and sweaty in here. The sun is absolutely gorgeous and I really would rather be outside. I'm going to open the window, let a bit of air in. I've already brought up quite a lot of insects and spiders with me on the flowers, but I'm fine with that. I like spiders. I don't know how people are afraid of spiders or don't like them. Anyway, each to their own. So I am behind. I think this is meant to be my lunch break that we've kind of gone into now, because I also filmed an impromptu garden tour. So at the beginning, when I first went outside, neither neighbour was out. So I thought, oh, perfect time to do a quick tour of my garden for my other channel. I started doing that, and then of course one neighbour came back on one side and then the other neighbour came out on the other side and he started drilling something, and it's suddenly I had to stop talking to camera and I'll have to switch to a voiceover partway through that garden tour. And then I picked all the flowers and I had to water some pots because they'd got really dry. It's the wrong time of day to water them, but I just thought better that I do it now than don't do it at all. So yeah, so that took a little bit longer. Obviously filming takes a little bit longer, so I'm a little bit behind, but I'm going to sit down and I'm going to get 10. Actually, no, I haven't photographed all of the things that I showed you. The 2 pieces of jewellery and the coasters, I just haven't got around to it. And the coasters, I need to clean them and I haven't got time to do that. So I am basically going to create drafts for all the things that I have managed to photograph today. You're plugged in charging, so you're at a funny angle. Right, so I have sorted out, I've basically done a basic draft for 9 items, and then I've already got one draft on there that just needs one more photo. I need to put the size of a ring into the listing before I list it. I've just had a video chat with my mum. My mum has been a little bit poorly lately. We've had the ambulance and the paramedics out several times over the last few days, and she keeps insisting that I don't need to go around and see her. And I've basically told her I'm coming tomorrow because she's my mum, and it's just, you know, I've told her I'm coming tomorrow. So I've got a little trip into Suffolk tomorrow, and fingers crossed, everything will be fine. I'll get to spend some time with my mum and that will be lovely. So I've been chatting to her for about, I don't know, I think maybe like 20 minutes, something like that, just making some arrangements, getting an update and so on. Yeah, all I'm going to do now then is I'm going to take a little bit of a break because it's 2:30. I'm going to drop the photos into the listings on the Etsy app on my phone, get that done, have a bite to eat, have something to drink, and drop off the parcels. And then hopefully, what I'm thinking is by about 3:30, 4 o'clock, I should have got all of the reselling stuff done. And it's way later than it ordinarily would. But if you think about it, God, you can't not talk to your mum when she's poorly. You can't, I can't leave the plants in the pots in the garden to just, die a death because it's really sunny and they need watering and I can see that they're wilting and stuff like that. Sometimes things just have to be done. And if I get to the end of today, I've got another 10 listings on my Etsy shop. Do you know what? That's fine. The other Etsy stuff, which is the digital downloads and things, is such a tiny little minor thing that in the scheme of all of my income streams, it's kind of right at the bottom, really. If I skip that sometimes, that's okay. What I can't skip is the reselling at the moment. Right, so I can confirm that I have got 9 listings live on Etsy, and there are 2 things that I need to do. The first one of which is sorting out the size of a vintage ring that is still sitting in drafts because I haven't added that bit of information to it yet. So I need to find the ring and measure it and get that in there. And then the other thing I need to do is measure the crochet granny square. So I need to dig that out again, get that measured. And then I think that's it. I think they are sorted. And I've also decided that I'm going to stay over at my mum's, I think. So I kind of need to get a few things packed, a few things to take to her, a few sort of overnight things. Nothing major, just like a rucksack full of bits and pieces. She doesn't live that far away. It's like, I don't know, 40-ish minutes on the train, something like that. So yeah, it's just, I mean, I might come home, I might not. I kind of want the option. I think what I'm going to do is just buy a one-way ticket and decide when I'm there. But I thought what I could do tomorrow is I'll take my iPad to my mum's and then I can edit this video, and I can possibly start to edit the garden video that I started today. I can do like a first wave of the section that I recorded. And then when I come back at the weekend, I can get that video finished, I can get everything kind of uploaded, I can do all the back end stuff and things like that. So I can get work done on the journey. And that's kind of it. I'm trying to think, is there anything, you know, when you suddenly got to change your plans and you're thinking, right, what do I need to think about? What do I need to do? I just need to get on and pack my bag. That's what I'm going to use my half an hour to do. Pack my bag, get prepared for tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, I hope you've enjoyed the video, even though I haven't quite demonstrated what I would normally get or usually get done during the course of a work day. But that's the reality, isn't it? Things crop up. So thank you for spending this bit of time with me, and I hope you got something useful or entertaining out of the video, and I will see you again next week for a new work from home video.